Everyone on Station K-17 knew the rule. Do not look at the creature. Do not speak near it. And never, ever get close. The creature belonged to the alien girl named Zira. She walked slowly through the long metal halls, her head slightly lowered, her steps careful. Behind her followed the pet. Each step it took made the floor vibrate. When Zira appeared, conversations stopped. Doors slid shut. Guards tightened their grips on weapons. Fear moved faster than Zira ever could. No one remembered exactly where the creature came from. Some said it was a war beast. Others believed it was created in an ancient lab. A few whispered it had wiped out entire ships before bonding to Zira. As a child, Zira herself was not feared. She was feared because of what followed her. She had learned to live like this, alone in crowds, invisible but watched. The pet never left her side, never slept far, never let anyone touch her. Zira did not command it. She did not control it. The bond was older than language. That day, the station received a new human technician. His name was Evan Hall. Evan had worked on many stations, met dozens of species, and survived more than one bad posting. When he stepped onto K-17, he noticed the tension immediately. People moved quickly, eyes darted. Fear hung in the air like smoke. He followed the signs toward the maintenance deck. That was when the hallway went silent. Evan looked up and saw Zira walking toward him. She froze. So did everyone else. The creature stepped forward behind her, its massive head lifting. Its eyes locked onto Evan. Guards raised weapons. Alarms hummed quietly, ready to scream. Zira's heart raced. Someone would panic. Someone might die. She whispered, "Stop." To the creature, though she knew it did not follow words, Evan did something no one had ever done. He kept walking. A guard shouted, "Human, step back." Evan slowed but did not retreat. He looked at the creature, really looked at it. Monster, not as a threat, but as a living being. The creature stepped closer. Zira felt cold fear grip her chest. Then, Evan did something even stranger. He lowered his tools, relaxed his shoulders, and spoke calmly. "Easy," he said. "I'm not here to hurt anyone." The creature stopped. Its head tilted slightly, as if listening. The station held its breath. Evan stood only a few steps away now. He could feel the heat of the creature's body, hear its deep breathing. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but he didn't. Instead, he noticed something others never had. The creature was not angry. It was watching. Protecting. Zyra stared in disbelief. The creature slowly lowered itself, placing its massive body between Zira and Evan, but not in attack, in defense. Its posture relaxed. Gasps echoed through the hallway. No one had ever seen this. Evan turned his attention to Zira for the first time. She expected fear in his eyes. There was none. "Hi," he said gently. "I'm Evan." Zira hesitated, then answered softly, "Zira." No one interrupted. Zira's hands trembled. "Everyone says it's a monster." Evan shook his head. "Monsters don't stand like that. Soldiers do." The words hit Zira harder than any insult she had ever heard. For the first time in years, someone saw truth instead of fear. The station slowly returned to life. Whispers spread like wildfire. The human walked past the most feared creature on the station and lived. As Evan continued down the hall, something shifted inside her chest. Curiosity. Hope. And something far more dangerous. Because for the first time, the creature had noticed someone else, and it had not turned away. Zira did not know it yet, but that single moment would change her life, the creature's fate, and the way the galaxy saw humanity forever. Zira did not move for a long time after. But Zira felt none of it. Its breathing was slow, calm, almost thoughtful. It seemed curious. Zira placed a hand on its thick, armored side. "It's over," she whispered. "You did well." Warning. Zira had heard that sound only once before, when she was very young and afraid. That night, the door as it always did, but something was different. Its senses were alert, not for danger. Others saw it as proof Zira was dangerous. Even her own people avoided her. Zira was summoned to the central market ring. She did not want to go. Crowds were dangerous. Fear made people stupid. Still, she had no choice. As Zira walked, people backed away as usual. Some cursed quietly. Others recorded her on datapads, hoping to capture proof if something went wrong. The creature followed closely. Then Zira saw him again. Evan stood near an open panel, repairing a power line. He was laughing with another human, unaware of the... She whispered. The creature ignored her. It took one slow step forward. People screamed. Security drones activated. Red lights flashed. Evan turned at the sound and froze. He saw Zira. He saw the creature. The guards shouted orders. Step away. Now Zira's heart pounded. Please, she whispered to the creature. Please don't. Evan raised his hands. Slowly, just like before. It's okay, he said, his voice calm but loud enough to carry. I remember you. Never did. Evan took one careful step closer. You don't want trouble. Neither do I. Zira couldn't breathe. The creature moved its head closer to Evan, close enough that one sudden move could end everything. Instead, it did something impossible. It sniffed him. Gasps rippled through the market ring. The creature pulled back and made the same deep, calm sound. Acceptance. Evan smiled, slow and careful. Guess that means hello. Zira felt her knees weaken. She rushed forward despite the shouts. Evan, she said urgently. You should go. They'll hurt you. He saw the fear she hid every day. They won't, he said. Not if they're smart. The human was unharmed. Protocol failed them. Finally, the alarms shut down. The crowd slowly dispersed, disappointed. Zira stood, shaking. Why are you doing this? She asked. Evan shrugged. Because your pet isn't dangerous. She laughed softly, bitter. Everyone says that before they die. He shook his head. No, everyone says that before they run. Silence hung between them. The creature settled beside Zira. Its body angled slightly toward Evan. Protective. But not hostile. Zira realized something terrifying. The creature had not chosen her this time. It had chosen him. That night, Zira sat alone. Again, but this time her thoughts were not heavy with fear. They were heavy with questions. What was Evan? Why did the creature respond to him? And why did her heart beat faster whenever she thought of his calm voice? Far away, in the station logs, a silent alert activated. Ancient Guardian response detected. Bond expansion initiated. No one noticed. Not yet. The rumors spread faster than truth. By the next cycle, everyone on Station K-17 was talking about the human and the monster. Some said the creature had spared him by accident. A few whispered something worse, that the human was controlling the beast. Zira heard it all. She kept her head down as she walked. The creature closed behind her. It moved with quiet purpose, no longer tense, no longer scanning every shadow. It felt confident. That scared her more than its anger ever had, because confidence meant choice. And the creature was choosing. The test came sooner than Zira expected. Transport dock malfunction near the outer ring. Power failed. Emergency doors sealed. Hundreds were trapped inside with failing air systems. Panic rose fast. Fear always did. Station command made a decision. A bad one. They sent armed security to Zira's quarters. She knew before they knocked. The creature rose, blocking the door, its armor plates tightening. Zira placed a shaking hand against it. She whispered, "Not yet." The door slid open just enough for voices to carry through. "We need the creature," a commander said. "The collapsed bulkhead is too heavy. Machines failed. Your pet is our only option." Zira's chest tightened. You mean you want to use it, she replied. Silence followed. That area is unstable, the commander said carefully. If it becomes violent, you will kill it. Zira finished. The creature growled low. Zira felt anger burn through years of fear. You never cared if it was dangerous before. You only cared when you needed it. The commander hesitated. We also need the human. Zira froze. Evan? He understands the creature, the commander said. If this goes wrong, he's already accepted the risk. That was a lie. Zira knew it. They were using him, against her will, against the creature's nature, against everything. Minutes later, Zira stood at the edge of the damaged dock. Twisted metal blocked the main passage. Cracks spread across the ceiling. Alarms screamed. Trapped civilians pounded on sealed doors. Evan arrived breathless, tools still clipped to his belt. What's going on? They're testing you, Zira said softly. Both of you. Evan looked at the creature. It met his gaze calmly. Guess we don't have much choice, he said. The commander barked orders. Clear the path. If the creature resists. The creature stepped forward before the order finished. Zira's breath caught. It moved toward the wreckage, muscles shifting beneath armor. Evan followed close, ignoring shouted warnings. Slow, Evan said calmly. Take your time. The creature paused. Then it lifted. Metal screamed as the massive bulkhead rose inch by inch. Struts bent, sparks flew. Evan guided its movement, pointing, signaling, trusting. People watched in stunned silence. The creature was precise. Careful. When the path opened, trapped civilians rushed out coughing, crying, alive. Not one was harmed. Cheers erupted. Then the ceiling cracked louder. A support beam snapped free, falling straight toward Evan. Zira screamed. The creature moved faster than thought. It shoved Evan aside and took the full impact on its armored back. The floor shook. Dust filled the air. When it cleared, the creature remained standing, but its armor was cracked. Blood dark and glowing spilled onto the floor. Silence fell like a blade. Security weapons rose instantly. Zira stepped in front of the creature without thinking. No, she said, her voice shaking but loud. It saved him. The commander hesitated. Evan staggered to his feet, rage burning in his eyes. Lower your weapons, he snapped. Now. They stared at him in disbelief. You needed proof, Evan continued. There it is. That thing you fear just chose to protect a stranger. What does that make you? No one answered. The creature swayed. Zira caught it, pressing her forehead to its armored side. Stay with me, she whispered. Evan knelt, ignoring orders, placing his hand where the armor cracked. The creature did not pull away. It leaned closer, trusted him. Medical teams rushed in, careful, afraid. Evan stayed with Zira as they treated the wound. That day, the station learned something it did not want to accept. The monster was not dangerous. Fear was. And the human? The human stood between power and conscience, without armor, without weapons, without hesitation. Zira looked at Evan as the creature breathed steadily again, for the first time. She understood the danger he carried. Not strength, not weapons, but the kind of courage that forced the galaxy to change. After the rescue, Station K-17 changed, but not in the ways Zira hoped. People smiled now when they saw the creature. They whispered words like hero and guardian. Children pointed at it with wide eyes instead of running away. The commanders praised the success in public reports, but fear does not disappear so easily. It only changes shape. Zira noticed it first in the silence. Guards followed her more closely. Drones hovered longer than needed. Doors took extra seconds to open. Friendly looks were mixed with calculation. The creature was healing, but slowly. Cracks still marked its armor. It stayed near Zira, alert again. Its trust pulled tight like a stretched wire. Evan visited often. He brought tools, food, and quiet company. He spoke to Zira like she was normal, like she belonged. That mattered more than he knew. You should leave the station, Zira said one day as they sat near the observation window. Stars drifted slowly beyond the glass. Evan looked surprised. Why, they are watching you, she said. They always watch things they want to control. Evan smiled softly. Humans are used to that. She did not smile back. This is different. That same cycle. A sealed meeting took place in station. Command. The creature was no longer called a threat. It was called an asset. Orders were signed quietly, late in the artificial night. Alarms did not sound. Instead, the power dimmed. Zira woke instantly. The creature rose with a deep warning sound. Its senses screamed danger, not loud, not sudden, but planned. The door to Zira's quarters slid open without permission. Armed units stepped inside, weapons set to stun. And worse, by order of station authority, the lead officer said. The Guardian entity is to be transferred for research and deployment. Zira moved in front of the creature. No. This is not a request, the officer replied. The creature growled, low and controlled. Then Evan appeared in the doorway. Step back, he said sharply. They ignored him. Zira's voice shook. You said it was free. It is dangerous. The officer answered. And valuable. Evan's face hardened. So you're stealing it. Weapons lifted. The creature did not attack. Instead, it did something unexpected. It knelt. Lowered its massive body. Submitted. ZY. Ari felt her heart break. No, she whispered. You don't have to. But the creature's eyes met Evan's, and Evan understood. It was buying time. Evan moved. He slammed the emergency lock on the door, sealing half the unit outside. Sparks flew as weapons fired uselessly against reinforced plating. Run! Evan shouted. Zyra hesitated only a second. She grabbed Evan's hand and ran. The creature followed last, slower because of its wounds, placing itself between them, and danger at every turn. Sirens finally screamed. Security flooded the corridors. This station is compromised. Echoed through loudspeakers. They reached the old cargo ring, abandoned, forgotten. Evan knew it well. There's a maintenance shuttle, he said, lulled, hidden. Blaster fire struck the wall behind them. The creature roared, not in rage, but command. The floor shook. Security units froze. Something ancient filled the air. The creature stood tall, armor glowing faintly. Symbols along its body lit up, marks Zira had never seen before. Evan stared. What is it doing? Zira whispered in awe, remembering. The creature turned to them, touched Zyra's shoulder gently, then looked at Evan. And bowed its head. No, Evan said. You're coming with us. The creature shook its head once, then stepped back into the corridor. Weapons fired. The creature charged, not to kill, but to block, to hold, to protect. Zira screamed its name as Evan dragged her away. The shuttle launched seconds later. From space, Zira watched the station shrink. Tears burned her eyes. She felt something break, and something else ignite. Evan placed a hand over hers. We'll get it back, he said. I promise. Zira looked at him. At the human who stood against an entire station. At the one her guardian trusted more than itself. For the first time, she did not feel alone. Far behind them, Station K-17 sent out a classified message. Guardian species confirmed. Containment failed. Human interference. Active threat. The hunt had begun. They did not make it 10 corridors. The station did not raise alarms. It did something far worse. It sealed. Bulkhead doors slammed shut across Station K-17. Lights shifted to deep red. Every public channel went silent, replaced by a single command frequency. Zira felt it immediately. They're trapping us, she whispered. Evan nodded, jaw tight. Not just us. They're locking the Guardian in. The creature stopped walking. That Alone sent a chill through the air. It lifted its head, eyes glowing brighter than before. The metal walls around them hummed, responding, not resisting, but listening. For the first time, Zira understood. The station was not a cage. It was a test. Voice echoed through the corridor, amplified and calm. "Guardian entity," the commander said. "Stand down. You will be treated with respect if you comply." Zira laughed bitterly. "You call this respect?" Evan stepped forward. "Let the civilians go. This has nothing to do with them." Silence followed. Then the commander answered. "Everything has to do with power, human." That was the moment Evan realized the truth. They were not afraid of the Guardian anymore. They were afraid of who the Guardian had chosen. Security units appeared at both ends of the corridor. Heavy armor. Energy nets tuned not to kill but to control. Zira's hand shook. "If they take you," she began, looking at the creature. The creature turned toward her and did something it had never done before. It touched her forehead gently. With its massive armored brow, Zira gasped as images flooded her mind. Ancient stars. Burning worlds. Guardians standing alone while civilizations rose and fell. And one clear truth. Guardians were not weapons. They were judges. The creature pulled back. Evan stared. "What did it show you?" Zira swallowed. That it was never meant to obey. The first net fired. The creature moved instantly, not forward, but outward. The corridor walls bent as a protective field expanded, throwing the nets aside like dust. Guards fell back in panic. "This is your last warning," the commander shouted. "You will force our hand." Evan spoke calmly, his voice carrying through the chaos. "You already did." The creature stepped forward once. The station lights flickered across entire sectors. Data streams spiked. Long-buried systems activated. Old Alliance satellites turned their sensors inward toward K-17. Across the galaxy. Alarms no one remembered building began to sound. Guardian awakening detected. Judgment phase initiated. Zira felt it then. The galaxy was watching. The creature was no longer hiding. Security units opened fire. The Guardian did not strike back. Instead, it walked. Every step shut down weapons. Every movement disabled shields. Systems failed not from force, but from authority older than law. Evan stayed close to Zira, shielding her as best he could. "Remind me never to annoy it," he muttered. Despite everything, Zira almost smiled. They reached the docking bay. Their ship weighed small, civilian, unimportant. That was why it survived. As they ran, the commander's voice returned, no longer calm. "If you leave, you will be declared enemies of the Alliance." Evan looked back once. Then the Alliance should ask why. The creature paused at the edge of the bay. It turned, facing the station, facing the cameras, facing the galaxy. For the first time, it spoke not in sound, but in presence. Every connected system received the same message. Those who rule through fear will be judged. Those who stand through courage will be remembered. The human stands. The bond is accepted. Then it stepped onto the ship. The bay doors exploded open as they launched into space. Behind them, Station K-17 drifted silent, powerless, exposed. Zira collapsed into a seat, shaking. Evan sat beside her, equally stunned. Creature settled at the center of the ship, calm once more, as if nothing had happened. Zira looked at Evan, eyes wide with fear and wonder. "We just challenged the galaxy," she said. Evan took her hand. "No, we showed it a mirror. Far away, council worlds argued. Fleets mobilized. Ancient records were pulled from sealed archives. One truth spread faster than panic. A Guardian had awakened. And it had chosen a human. The galaxy would never sleep easily again. The galaxy reacted exactly as Zira feared, and exactly as Evan expected. Within hours of their escape, signals flooded every public channel. Emergency councils were called. Fleets changed course. Old treaties were pulled from digital graves and read again with shaking hands. One message repeated everywhere. A guardian has awakened. And it chose a human. Zero watched the stars slide past the viewport of their small ship. Her hands were clenched, so tightly they hurt. The creature rested nearby, silent and still, as if the storm it had caused meant nothing to it. To Zero, it meant everything. They will come for us, she said quietly. Evan did not look away from the controls. Yeah, he answered, but not the way they think. She turned to him. You sound calm. He gave a tired smile. Humans usually are, right before things get bad. The ship suddenly shuddered. An alarm blinked, multiple jump signatures. Zero's breath caught. That's too many. The creature lifted its head. Space around them twisted as ships dropped out of jump space. Sleek alien war vessels, heavy cruisers, observation craft packed with sensors. They surrounded the small civilian ship like hunters circling prey. A transmission forced its way through. This is the Galactic Council, a cold voice said. Powered down immediately. Guardian entity, you will be surrendered. Zero felt fear claw up her spine. They'll destroy us. The creature did not move. Evan pressed the communicator open. You're surrounding a civilian ship. You are harboring a classified entity, the voice replied. And a destabilizing human, Evan snorted softly. Guess that's me. The creature stepped forward, not toward the weapons, toward the center of the ship. The air changed. Zero felt it again, that deep pressure, like standing near a massive storm that was perfectly controlled. Images filled her mind, clearer than before. Guardians, standing alone while empires burned themselves out. Worlds judged not by strength, but by choice. Civilizations saved or erased. Her voice shook. It's not angry. Evan nodded slowly. No, it's deciding. The Guardian reached out, not physically, but through space itself. Every ship around them felt it. Weapons powered down without command. Shields flickered. Control systems froze. Pilots shouted in panic as their ships became silent metal shells drifting in space. The council voice returned. No longer cold. What is happening? The Guardian answered. Not in words. In truth. Across every connected mind, a simple understanding. Form. Fear built your laws. Fear chose your leaders. Fear made you forget why Guardians exist. Zero felt tears run down her face. It's talking to them. Evan whispered. It's talking to everyone. The Guardian showed them Station K-17. The attempted capture. The moment it protected Evan instead of striking back. The choice Zero made when she refused to step aside. Then it showed them something else. Humans, standing unarmed between danger and others. Entering disasters first. Staying behind last. Not perfect, not peaceful, but unwilling to abandon each other. The council ships trembled. A new voice broke through the channel, older, quieter. We remember now, it said. Guardians judge courage, not power. Silence followed. Then another truth spread. The Guardian was not bound to Zero anymore. Not only to Evan. It was bound to humanity's pattern. The Guardian turned slightly toward Evan. For the first time it spoke in sound. One word. Stand. Evan's heart pounded. Me? Zero grabbed his arm. Evan, he stood anyway. Straight, calm, afraid, but steady. The Guardian projected the moment across the fleet. A human. Alone, unarmed, refusing to kneel. The message was clear. This is what we chose, one by one. Ships powered their systems back on. None raised weapons. The council voice returned, changed. The Guardian is free, it said carefully. The human may go, Zero gasped. They're letting us go? Evan exhaled slowly. Looks like it. The fleet parted. Stars opened ahead of them. As their ship jumped away, Zero collapsed into the seat, exhausted. Evan sat beside her, silent. You changed the galaxy, she said softly. He shook his head. No, we reminded it. The Guardian settled again, quiet, watchful, but Zira knew the truth now. Humanity was no longer just another species among many. It was a measure, and somewhere, in ancient systems waking from long sleep, other Guardians were listening, watching, waiting to see if humans would keep standing. The galaxy did not celebrate. It watched. After the fleet withdrew, silence spread faster than fear ever had. No alarms, no speeches, no victory messages. Only questions, whispered across worlds that had never been judged before. Zira felt that silence deeply. Their ship drifted through open space. Engines steady, destination unknown. Stars passed like distant thoughts. The Guardian rested at the center of the ship, calm again, as if the storm it caused had already passed. But for Zira, nothing felt calm. She stood near the viewport, arms wrapped around herself. What happens now? She asked quietly. Evan leaned against the wall, tired but awake. Now? He thought for a moment. Now the galaxy figures out what it did wrong. Zira looked at him. And us? Vivian smiled softly. We keep moving. The Guardian stirred. Slowly, carefully, it rose and walked toward them. The ship lights dimmed, reacting to its presence. Zira felt warmth instead of pressure, this time. Comfort. The Guardian lowered itself until its massive form rested close to them. No barrier, no distance. Zira placed her hand on its armor. For the first time, it did not feel heavy. It felt complete. Images filled her mind one last time. Guardians leaving worlds they once protected. Civilizations falling because they chose fear again and again. And now humans standing in places where no one else would, not because they were chosen, because they chose to stand. The Guardian pulled back gently. Zyra understood. It's leaving, she whispered. Evan looked up sharply. Leaving? The Guardian turned toward the stars. It had never been meant to stay. Guardians were not companions, they were witnesses. Zira's chest tightened. But you just found us. The Guardian paused. Then it reached out and touched Zyra's shoulder lightly. Carefully. This time. The message was simple. You no longer need me to protect you. Zira felt tears fall freely. The Guardian turned to Evan. It studied him for a long moment, as if memorizing something fragile and rare. Then it spoke again. Only one sentence. You stood when asked. Others will follow. Evan swallowed. I didn't do anything special. The Guardian's eyes glowed softly. That is why it mattered. Light filled the ship. Not heat, not force. Just light. When it faded, the Guardian was gone. No sound, no explosion. No goodbye, only silence. Zyra collapsed into the seat, shaking. Evan sat beside her and pulled her close without thinking. She leaned into him, grief and relief tangled together. It trusted you, she said quietly. Evan shook his head. That trusted what humans do. Days later, they reached a neutral world. No guards met them. No weapons were raised. Instead, people watched from a distance. Aliens of many kinds, unsure, curious, cautious. News screens played the same message. Everywhere, Guardian judgment complete. Humanity, under observation. Not condemned. Not praised. Observed. Zyra expected fear. Instead, a child approached her first. A small alien, eyes wide. Are you the one who walked with the Guardian? The child asked. Zyra knelt slowly. Yes. The child looked at Evan. Is he human? Evan smiled. Last time I checked. The child nodded seriously. My mother says humans stand when others run. Zyra felt something warm bloom in her chest. That night, under a sky filled with unfamiliar stars, Zyra and Evan stood together. No more hiding, Zyra said. No more running. Evan replied. She looked at him, truly looked at him, not as the human who faced a Guardian, but as the man who chose her when it was easier not to. You stayed, she said. Evan met her eyes. So did you. The galaxy would take time to change. Some worlds would resist. Some leaders would pretend nothing happened. Some would try to turn fear back into power, but something had shifted. Humanity was no longer just another species. It was a question the galaxy could not ignore. And Zira? For the first time in her life, she walked without fear, not because a guardian followed her, but because a human walked beside her. And that, the galaxy slowly learned, was far more dangerous to fear than any monster ever could be.